Hi, and welcome to Selling in a Skirt with Judy Hoberman. I'm Judy. I'm so excited to have you here today because Selling in a Skirt is all about connection and community and building relationships. We encourage men to sponsor and champion and advocate for women, and we empower professional women. One of my favorite things is the special guest that I have, and today is no different. And by the way, my guest is a second timer, so he's the first of the second. So let me tell you a little bit about Tim Samuels if you didn't hear his first show, and if you didn't, go back and listen. So Tim has worked in higher education for over 23 years as the Executive Dean of Academic Programs, including several recent years providing leadership of college, career, and technical programs. He's functioning in the role of Associate Chief of Workforce, Senior Director of Corporate Partnerships of the Ascend Institute at Dallas College. So Tim, I'm excited to have you here, and we have so much to talk about. I have so many questions written down for you because every time I think of something, I'd have to write it down.
Judy, I'm delighted to be with you again today. This is always fun when we get together, whether it's in the studio or just in our casual or sometimes formal strategic brainstorming sessions.
Yes,
but no, thank you for having me again today.
Absolutely. So I want you to tell everybody, because if you don't know what Ascend Institute is, why don't you tell everybody what that really is and how it got started?
So, Judy, in the history of Dallas College, which has been going, I think, 2 years shy of its 60th
Wow.
anniversary. So in the first 55 years, we functioned, in a multi-college district system, 7 colleges that we converted to 1 college in the year of 2020. I think we talked about that in our first show together. The Ascend Institute was formed in that consolidation effort, but also to bring about a more cohesive, stronger continuity, a team of dedicated resources to serve employers.
Right.
And so that became the focus and the build out of the Ascend Institute, which we did during the pandemic. No small task, to say the least. But that's why the Ascend Institute, the former chancellor, Dr. Joe May, our current chancellor, Dr. Lannan, really, and the board of trustees really understood as part of our mission to transform lives in the communities that we serve. That includes employers, not necessarily your traditional academic student, but employers who really are our customer. And so we serve our employers to meet their needs, which are always vast, always interesting,
Yes.
always diverse, and is a great challenge, one that we welcome, that we love, and that we embrace. And so it's that opportunity for us. We're 2 years into the Ascend Institute, and I'm able to share with you, as we just culminated with our end of year data through August of 23, we were able to train another 6,000 people more this year
Than
than
last year?
last year, our baseline year.
Wow.
So right at 23,000 people we were able to train. And you may ask, or the listeners may be interested in knowing, training doing what? What does training mean? Well, we're talking about training the existing workforce of the organizations, irregardless of size, big company, small company, in between size company, irregardless of industry sector. We do focus on the 7 top industry sectors that have the highest hiring demand.
And that would be?
So without any hierarchy here, the top 7 that we focus on, Judy, include healthcare, IT, manufacturing, construction, logistics, distribution, and most recently, the 7th is aviation and aerospace.
Wow.
Now, we still work in the world of banking and finance, and we work in the retail space. But if you go look at any labor market intelligence data, those 7 industries represent the most pervasive hiring needs across the North Texas region.
Has that changed before the pandemic or after the pandemic, that those 7 are the top?
Fairly static. And if you look at economic development and what contributes to the economy, those are the 7 that typically would produce a larger number of employees. Think about construction.
Right.
Look out these windows,
hallway, yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Whether it's vertical construction or horizontal construction. whether it's commercial or whether it's residential. Mm-hmm. But that's just a very large economic driver
Right.
of the North Texas region, but so is aviation. You think about how much money comes in and out of DFW with the DFW airport, with Love Field, the various regional airports. Huge booming economy when it comes to aviation and aerospace. And there's a number of very key occupation types that are the drivers behind that. And it's my team's responsibility to be on top of that, have our finger on the pulse. And that's just a couple of those industries, but you can go down the
All of them.
talk to the DFW Hospital Council and their executive director and listen to that story. So we try to be the intersection and the liaison between the community college work and the employers getting their needs met.
Which is huge today, you know. So I call our session today, you know, it's a beautiful day in the neighborhood. And the reason I say that is because more than anything, we want to make sure that people are more aware of Dallas College. And on our last show, I mean, people were saying, I didn't know that about Dallas College. I didn't know they did this. What are some of your plans going forward to bring more awareness to Dallas College and to Ascend Institute?
Appreciate that question, Judy. So, you know, our forte a number of years has been the training piece.
Mm-hmm.
We needed to carve out another niche of our organization because if we're really going to meet the needs of our employers, we have to be able to really address probably the most excruciating pain point outside of just the bottom line for employers.
Yeah,
And that is, where is the talent?
right.
Where's the qualified workforce? I can't find the pipeline of people to backfill into needed roles and responsibilities. Oftentimes, many jobs that are going unfilled, or they lapse month after month, which has all kind of economic downturn for any company.
Right.
If you don't have the qualified workforce, right? So that has become another niche of our organization beyond just the training element. It is how do we assist companies acquire and develop talent. So acquiring new talent, continue to develop the existing incumbent workforce, but that is kind of new and different for Dallas College. And we're the organization to really be the outward face to help them do that. We do that a number of ways. We'll leverage state dollars, we'll leverage federal dollars to the Department of Labor, Department of Ed, we'll leverage Texas Workforce Commission dollars through our skills training grants. So there's a lot of ways for us to do that in meeting the training needs and the talent acquisition needs for, again, incumbent workers and for new hires. But also, too, we can assist employers in the community by bringing key, pivotal, important informational awareness, which is where you and I have been kind of scheming behind the scenes, talking about opportunities.
Right.
Because you're a key partner of Dallas College, Judy. And so, you know, we're looking at bringing to life a professional speaker series that is, you know, I want it to be unlike anything else that you see out there. There's a lot of that.
Yeah.
But we have a lot of resources internally at Dallas College. We have a lot of external resources, a lot of subject matter experts and professional speakers. And we want it to be local and statewide, but we also want to think globally. And we want to bring some of the cutting edge speaker series to the Metroplex. And we hope to deliver that a variety of ways, face-to-face, online, and face-to-face all across the North Texas region, because we're not bound to a specific geographic locale. I mean, Dallas College sits on 22
Different campuses.
properties
Yes, right.
in the county. And so we can be at literally any of these, delivering these professional speaking series. And I'm real excited about that. I know you and I have just scratching the surface of what that can become, but that's a lot of fun. I can't wait for us to continue to cultivate what that's going to look like.
So where does that fit in the alignment of where Dallas College wants to go? Because, you know, Ascend Institute is very innovative. I mean, you know that, I know that. And you are really the bulk of the awareness because that's what the community knows. So how does that fit into that whole series of alignment with Dallas College?
So our, you know, Dr. Justin London, our chancellor, talks about this all the time, and he's really great about reminding us why we're here, serving the community at large. And it is all about transforming lives. And not just our student population, which we serve over 100,000 students at Dallas College. That's on the credit side of our house, which people are probably most familiar with that aspect of it, but also the non-credit. The continuing education folks that access our doors every day. The community that doesn't know we exist today. And trust me when I say there's a number of those folks that don't truly understand the array of services, the opportunities of how we can come involved and become a part of your life and help provide you with maybe other opportunities that increase wages, living wage opportunities, change lives, change jobs, change careers, impacts the family, changes the socioeconomic system for you and your family. And thus we become a catalyst just organically of driving the economy in a real positive, powerful way.
So the people that you're envisioning that would benefit from the workshops, they don't have to be students and they don't have to be part of workforce and they, or any of the employers that you work with. It can be the community.
Correct. Right? Absolutely. So two things. Dallas College prides itself, we certainly do at the Ascend Institute, on being a convener and being a connector.
Right.
And by doing that, we try to tap into all facets of any community. And as we know, Judy, there's differences in the communities of North Texas. Between North Dallas, South Dallas, East and West Dallas, we need to understand, and I think we do, understand those socioeconomic factors that are at play. And as our chancellor will oftentimes say, we're in the barrier busting business. And I love that because that really drives you to think differently than we've ever had before, to really understand what are the barriers to success in life. Not that success is a destination, it's part of the journey, but what are those barriers? Is it transportation? Is it food? What is it?
Mindset?
Is it mindset? Is it certain industries that maybe there are not there? Working with ISDs in a collaborative partnership and really being intertwined with their service delivery system, and how do we build on top of that? Because that is our future workforce, many would say, and I can't disagree with that. But yeah, so it's really being, it's not just the student, it's anybody and everybody in the communities we serve, which is why I think it's really an advantage for us to be able to go do these professional speaking series at these 22 properties that I'm talking about, because we'll be in all regions of North Texas, meeting the people where they are.
Right.
And I got to tell you, that's probably the most important message there, convening, connecting, and meeting them where they are. So again, busting barriers so that we deliver a quality product to meet their needs. And Judy, this is still crazy to me. It's been several years now. When you hear things and you read published reports that talk about 80% of all jobs by the year 2030, 80% of all jobs by the year 2030 have not been created yet.
That's right.
I mean, can you really digest that, wrap your head around that?
Right.
Because what does that mean? What's the implication there? Different jobs, different skills for jobs, what is required of those jobs, who's going to fill those jobs, how is that going to happen that 80% of all jobs by the year 2030, we don't even know what they are today.
And they also say that all the workers, whether they're employees of corporations or independent or any of the different various programs that people are in, they're all going to have to be upskilled, because the skill set that they have today is not going to work. So now you have all these new jobs that haven't been created, and you have the upskilling of all these people that are in positions that are not going to be qualified any longer. So there's huge opportunities for Dallas College and huge opportunities for employers. So I think it's a win-win all the way around, because you are meeting them where they are and you are listening to them, and that's what people want more than anything, is to be heard and listened to. And when you come in behind them and you said, we heard you, and here, let's talk about this, I always say if you can hear in their own words, that's the most valuable piece of information that you have.
I agree 100%. And when we think about the emerging, the evolving technologies that are going to make up a lot of these kind of jobs, there's a big fear in society today that,
Not gonna be needed.
People are going away.
Yes.
Well, maybe to some degree, because when you think about automation, but it's really more about how the jobs are changing.
Right.
And how they're evolving through technology. And I think that's the messaging that we want to be able to bring to the community to really inform them and make them aware of opportunities, maybe to kill some of the noise surrounding some of the fears and anxieties, because that's real. And so I think we again are positioned right in the heart to do the right work and to do that important work and bring that message out. And I think that gives us a great opportunity to do that through the Professional Speaking Series.
I agree. Are there any organizations or community groups that you are going to look to work with in this series?
So probably a multitude of those, because again, we want to think very outward bound with key partners at Dallas College. I mean, certainly we're members of so many chamber organizations, yep. Judy. So as members, as you know, we can leverage the membership and the directory. We can work with our economic development offices across the North Texas region. We can work with any community-based organization and other nonprofits, big partners of the United Way. A lot of those folks that we'll tap into to really spread the word and build the awareness campaign surrounding the opportunities to come. As you know, we're working on a schedule that we are excited to launch, hopefully very, very soon, that we have just a cadence of offerings, again, face-to-face in many cases, but also because we want to bring this out to the state of Texas and globally, we want to make the virtual option.
Absolutely.
Because I think that'll be very convenient for a number of people who otherwise may not barrier bust in business. So let's eliminate transportation as a barrier to bring this forward, and real excited about all of the opportunities there.
And what about flexibility as far as time? Because a lot of people work, or a lot of people do better in the morning. Or are you going to be able to offer some of these series at different times of the day?
I think we need to,
yeah.
And I think we will, because we certainly want to leave no stone unturned in the scheduling of what that format will look like. But also, too, getting robust in our website design that we're currently working on, so that we have a repository of where these virtual sessions can live and breathe, and that they can be playbacks, so that if you can't make it any point in time, but a different day or whenever it may be more convenient for you, there's a place you can go and access the material so that you're still able to partake and be aware of what's going on.
But we're also going to do a follow-up podcast after each one and do, let's get into the weeds and see what the topics were and talk about them. So there'll be a different way of learning also, because you and I both know that, especially adults, we learn in different ways. So it may not all be visual, it may not all be, audio, and it may be in person or not. But if we can hit all of that, can you imagine that? That just kind of like blows my mind.
But that's the right way,
yeah,
right? I
yeah.
mean, so to be multimedia
yeah.
in its truest form, so that we're able to reach, we're talking about the masses.
Right.
And we don't want there to be any limitations to what we do. So we're trying to think like that. You're exactly right. And I don't see any reason why we can't make that happen.
Yeah, absolutely. So tell me, have you thought about any topics that you think would be really valuable to the masses, and even if we have to, curtail it, turn it around a little bit, or add this or take this out, or any topics that really are driving you right now?
The list is long.
I know.
There's a lot of those topics, Judy, for sure. Certainly when you think about Professional Speaking Series, there's the professional services, Toyota. When I meet with the Toyota executives, they call them the professional work behaviors. And I don't care, it's agnostic to any industry. But when you talk about the professional work behaviors, everything you can think of in terms of communication, team building, conflict resolution, conflict mediation, time management, the list is long and extensive. But it's all of those things. But really we want to get into the technical components too. Maybe
Yes.
some of those 80% of those jobs as it's happening, because really the evolution of change is right here before our very eyes right now, Judy, as you know. And to be able to touch on those emerging and evolving technologies, I mean, what's really hot in the press, as we know today, or throw out the buzzwords, right? Chat GPT and AI, artificial intelligence. I mean, we need to still create awareness to our community at large. What does all of that mean? How does it impact me? How does it affect me? And I think, again, that's one of the benefactors of this type of opportunity, to bring people to these sessions and learn and become familiar, become aware, releasing some of that anxiety or fears, or maybe providing you as an interested person opportunities in maybe IT or whatever that career occupation is.
Yeah, and I was thinking about high school students that are thinking about what's next for them and thinking about their future and listening to some of the things, the new positions that are coming up, the new jobs that are being created. Let's talk about AI or whatever it is. Don't you think that some of those students who may not be a 4-year college candidate, don't you think that they might be like super excited to come to Dallas College?
I do. And when you think about career exploration, which every school has counselors that dive into that in depth, but we too, we attend all these job fairs. I mean, we were just talking to a friend and colleague about the Why Texas Summit recently at AT&T Stadium. The Dallas College and the Ascend team was very present in the moment there. But we attend all of the other career fairs and career exploration opportunities and events. This is just another way to reach that market, to educate and promote careers and make people familiar, to help people with familiarity surrounding those career occupations, because there's a plethora of those for those that may not be interested in that traditional pathway and pursuant to a 4-year degree. So again, opening those eyes through information and awareness through this professional speaking series, because we're not talking about a one and done.
No.
We're talking about a year-long, multi-year is the plan, because there's so much to talk about. There's so much going on in the world today that it won't take us long to map out a calendar of speaking topics, because we'll also get into those very industry-specific technologies and things that are pertinent and relevant. We'll talk about labor market intelligence. We'll talk about what are the top occupations, because it's fluid.
Yeah.
And so we want to help the community understand, these are the better occupations that pay living wages. These are the skill requirements. These are the essential job skills of occupation types. So really, it's covering the full array of what's involved with making decisions, career interest, and then maybe helping you as an individual map out what you'd like to do in life.
And, I've been reading lately, there's so many articles about 4-year versus 2-year schools and, why people are looking more at, the 2-year schools and the trade schools and all of that, which is very interesting to me, because I know when we were growing up, it was like you have to go to school for 4 years, and you have all these kids that come out now with these huge school loans, and, that's not a good thing either. But they also were never really told how valuable it is to have a trade or have a certificate or something else other than the diploma that some people don't even hang up. So that's one thing. The other thing is, you and I talked about the possibility of doing some of the series for certain industry types, whether it's HR or whether it's a CEO or whether it's IT or what. Do you think that is a valid way to get real interest in certain categories?
I think so, because we need to understand who the audience is. And as we think about a strategic plan, we want to be able to reach those decision makers at all levels. So certainly the C-suite, there's going to be those types of seminars, symposiums, workshops tailored around the C-suite audience. But as we think about the HR generalists, the HR specialists, we think about plant managers and production managers. And so we really want to tap into those various audiences so that we can bring content and subject matter to those folks, because it'll resonate.
Right.
And it will be important, and it will cause them to want to be in the room. so that we then collaborate with those folks and get to know who they are and vice versa. So yeah, we got to be able to tap into all the leadership organizations within a structured hierarchy of an organization. Yeah.
I see like a room full of whiteboards.
A lot of them.
Yes.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, that
Absolutely.
kind of makes me sweat just a little. Now, I know we're at the beginning stages of all of this, but if somebody really wanted to get involved at any capacity, how would they do that?
So in terms of contacting us, Judy, it certainly would, right now I'd serve as that key person right now. Through my email address, certainly would be the best way to reach me because I never turn it off. It's always available. I think you know this. But that would be the best way to reach out to me as your direct point of contact. And certainly we could provide that contact information
Yeah, we'll do that.
as we need to.
Yeah, awesome. So anything else that you want to share that, what you're excited about or what you're nervous about or anything?
I think one of the key things, and maybe this is a good thing to close on, Judy, because this is really probably new to you to some degree. There was, if we can talk politics for just a moment.
Okay.
Dare me to do that, right? So there was major legislative movement in Austin this summer. So for the first time in my 23 years in higher education, and I'm going to go out on a limb, I don't think it's that weak of a limb, to say that probably for the first time in the community college history, going back over 50 years, we've changed the funding model for community colleges. House Bill 8 was passed this summer, which will change funding models for all community colleges of the 50 districts in the state of Texas. And essentially, to keep it short and simple, community colleges are going to be assessed, evaluated, and measured and funded based on outcome-based education.
Wow.
So there's a lot of community awareness, and so that's going to be an opportunity for reoccurring conversations with our audience about what does that mean. And again, keeping it short, because it's still very fluid 60 days after the passing of that key legislation. It's going to be based on completers, where community colleges over the history has been based on enrollment and people in courses and the contact hours of that coursework. Now it's based on completers and what certifications. I'm going back to your point about the 4-year versus 2-year argument in some cases. And of course, I'm a traditional academician, so I support both sides. But completers that earn certifications that have industry value is going to be a huge part of our funding going forward as a community college anywhere in the state of Texas.
Wow, that's good to know.
Yeah.
So they can also find that out on, where would they find that?
I don't know that
State
we-
of Texas? Or-
Yeah, you could go to the state of Texas websites, any number of those, and certainly I've seen it on the governor's website.
Yeah.
But absolutely, and I'm sure Dallas College will do its own thing too with publicizing that, because it is a seismic shift
In the way you do
in the
business.
way we deliver
Yeah.
on the services we provide
Right.
and what the expected and measurable outcomes will be. And I'll tell you, speaking on behalf of my colleagues within community college and higher education, this is a day that we've long wanted to see, because it puts us where we thrive, and that is outcomes that lead to certifications and credentials. And thereby, it's not just about a degree. It's about the skills that you have. It tells employers what you can do on the job. And trust me, that is what is most valuable to employers.
Absolutely, and that's going to change the whole trajectory of education as well. I mean, it's education, it's workforce, it's employers, it's the community. The whole thing is, a complete circle.
It's never been more synergistic
Yeah, really.
than it is right now. And we're seeing it again. We're just on the cusp of this. In the next 5 to 10 years, it will certainly change the whole climate surrounding community colleges, perhaps even our senior universities. I don't know to what extent yet, but we know what we're going to be measured on, and we love it.
Well, it gives you a whole different, like a schedule to look at and to complete. I think that's amazing, and thanks for sharing that.
More to come.
I'm sure there is.
We'll circle back for sure on that.
Well, Tim, thank you so much. This has been great, and I'm sure there's going to be a lot of people that really want to get involved in this whole planning series and what it's going to look like, and even if they only want to be, an attendee, because I think there's going to be such value created, and, you might have just a repeat audience.
We hope so.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean, your best client is your reoccurring client, right?
Without question.
We look forward to it.
Yeah. So that's awesome. So I can't wait till our next conversation.
You know me, Judy, myself included.
Absolutely. And thank you all for being with us today on Selling a Skirt with Judy Hoberman, where we have some amazing amazing guests, gifts and guests. We have all of that. So we're excited to bring you all these amazing people every single time we're together. So until next time, we'll see you then.